for the conversation, the Mike Muse Show. I am so excited to be in conversation with my next guest. Audience, as you know, I love food and I love to grill. And I love sports, and I love a good drink and a good wine. And so, as you know, I've been so excited for the football season to kick off. I've been talking about my fantasy football league, and you know I bleed blue on Saturdays with University of Michigan College football. I've already started the shit talking already. The tickets are already bought to go back home to the big house. I've already started thinking about my grilling. Yes, I've already ordered my propane tanks already to get excited. And so I could think of a better person at this time to bring as a special guest to the Mike Muse Show than no other than the man who can cook his butt off. I've never had his personal cooking. I hope to be able to experience that one day. But he has a new show about tailgating. Crazy. Emeril tailgates. No other than Chef Emeril Lagasse. What's happening, Chef?
Hey, how are you, Mike? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm so happy to see you, man. Like this
I'm in the same boat as you. I'm excited about the football season starting. And boy, what a week one already it's been. 2 weeks of college already in there. I'm excited that you're excited about going back to the big house. Who's your pro team?
So I am a quarterback guy. And so I love quarterbacks. So I follow Mahomes. So Mahomes is like my number one guy. I mean, he was the first person I picked in my fantasy football league draft, followed by Lamar Jackson. But who about you? Do you go with the Saints? Because you're in New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm going with the Saints for sure. I'm very optimistic this year. I think we have a good coach, and I think the coach and with our general manager Mickey Loomis, I think we put together a good team off season. Who knows? Hopefully we'll go down the stretch. Don't know about Las Vegas, but we'll take one day at a time.
No, Chef, I got to say this, though. I tell everyone in the audience, I guess I'm going to tell you, I guess I haven't told you yet, but I recommend everyone put on their bucket list to go to New Orleans Saints home games. Chef, you guys are not my team, but I'm from the state of Michigan. And 1 year, you guys were playing Detroit Lions. Yeah, you guys went to play Detroit Lions. And I went to the game, and it was an evening game. So we started out at Bourbon Street having a good time. And as game time got close to kickoff, I'm moving closer to the stadium. I saw all these incredible tailgates. I asked one person, I said, are you guys doing this because the Lions is a night game? They said, we do this every Sunday. I was like, what? And then I get into the stadium. The platform is rocking. The music is blaring. The crocodile bites are sizzling. The crocodile sausages are going. I go out to the stadium, and you guys just kick it off with who that, the chants, the music. It is so much fun at a home game for the New Orleans Saints.
It really is. You know, Mike, I think a lot of that is because for so long, it was our only professional sports team that we had. And so people are quite spoiled. I tell people all the time, Sunday's a mood changer, because if the Saints win, the mood on Monday is fantastic. And if the Saints lose, they got a lot of chips on their shoulders. So anyhow, hopefully we can keep winning more than losing. But yeah, and you're right. So. It's insane the tailgating that's going on. But you know what? It's insane the tailgating that's going on in this country. I mean, as I'm doing this show, Emeril Tailgates on Roku, which you can screen, these super fans come to New Orleans. Okay, so we check out the stadium, Detroit, Minnesota, wherever. We go in there, my team, we research, because we want to have not only an educational part of the show, but we want to do some food that's different than what they're doing. Because most of the food that folks are doing tailgating with these super fans who are serious about it, they're doing that regional stuff. They're doing this stuff from the backyard, which they're comfortable with and they love. It's not hot dogs and hamburgers, I can tell you that. So we go in there and we try to mix it up a little bit, and boy, we're having some fun. The things
and I love that you guys have so the variety of it, though, right? Yeah. And we are going to get into all the episodes and conversations and the whole nine. What I love, though, is that there's an essence of like the elevated aspect of the tailgates that you guys have been offering, and also too, you've showed the range, because in my travels, I love I wouldn't say it's a hardcore bucket list, but I want to make sure I go to every baseball stadium. I love going to football stadiums, both professional and college, and I love to tailgate. And I've seen that tailgates now are becoming so elevated, all the way from your traditional hamburgers and hot dogs all the way to I went to Stanford's home game one like last year, and they actually had tailgate setups, right? And because it's wine country, there's like wine forward focused tailgates,
Right.
which you don't think about.
Well, I go to these stadiums. And I see anything from fire trucks to food trucks to pizza ovens to panini machines. It's crazy what's going out there. And here's the
I've
thing.
even seen even frozen yogurt machines. Now,
Yes.
no, I'm sorry, not frozen yogurt. Frozen rosé machines. They're frozen.
Frosé. Yeah, frosé. It's a big thing right now.
The
And
game of tailgating has changed, Chef.
if you have a plug, you can elevate your tailgating. And there's a lot of stadiums now that are offering plugs. You can plug in your air fryer. You can plug in your slow cooker, your frosé machine, like you just said. It's crazy. Here's the things that I'm learning, though. These super fans is what I call them. The one thing that they all have in common is prior proper planning. So if you think you're going to get up on Sunday morning and have a tailgate party for 40 people, you're wrong. You're setting yourself up to fail. You got to have a food plan. I got a lot of these folks that start on Wednesday. Had a guy on a show yesterday, matter of fact, and he likes to make jambalaya, but he puts pork butts in them. So he cooks his pork butt on Wednesday, saves all of the drippings from the pork butt on Wednesday, because then on Thursday he's going to make the red beans, that he's going to make the rice on Friday, and he brings this whole thing. It's just crazy what's going
Chef,
on.
In your experience in dealing and talking with so many people across the country, why do you think that people, what is so unique and special about tailgating? Like, why do you think it's elevating, not just in the food, but just in the ability to do it more?
You know, I think that tailgating has become super cool. Okay. It is one of the best ways of bringing people together. A lot of these super fans, most of these super fans that I have had on and had the pleasure of having on, they all have a community service, and it's mostly around kids. So a lot of them are mentoring kids, or they're doing medical things for kids, or they're clothing kids, or they're feeding kids. All of them just about have a community service, which is real cool. The other thing is that, you know, there's kind of this club. It's like I had a guy that gave me a coin, and it's like the 34 club, like 34 stadiums. And basically they know each other, this club. And so a guy from Detroit knows the guy in Houston, and they go and welcome him open hands to Houston to come in from Detroit to tailgate with them. And I can tell you all kinds of those kind of stories. It's so cool.
It is. I think also too, there's something special. Like I'm just so excited to talk to you. I love food. I love this conversation. So I almost said five things at the same time. My mouth was like, wait a minute, son, like relax, right? Kitchen has always been the focal point of anyone's home, right? Before we even get to tailgating, right? Like food is so
100%.
communal, and you've had a front row seat to human behavior and human dynamics just by the nature of you being a chef, right? Like, what is it about this gathering around food that you think is that the human condition is just so attached to? I think that's at its core.
Yeah, I can't speak enough about the family table, which all surrounds around food, and how that brings people together and closer and united. And whether it's friends or whether it's family, or maybe it's not friends, maybe by the end of it, you'll make a new friend. There's just something magical about being together, the smells, and almost cooking together. And you know what? The place 20 years ago, 25 years ago, maybe longer, when you go to my folks' house, you know, the center of entertainment was the living room. Okay. And bad answer now, because the center of attention and the center of anything in any home right now, as you know, is the kitchen.
Yeah. It should. I made the kitchen really. I made my dining room the focal point of my entry. Right, like I put a lot of investment into like the
Yeah,
dining space because when you saw my home, I wanted that to be the place where you first went to sit down at. Right,
right.
and I even think about it so as far as chef, I actually have like an ice bucket as like the centerpiece of my table, but that is just because like I always want to keep like a fresh bottle of something chilled. So when my guests come in, they immediately feel welcome and I can offer them a drink and then they can sit and be casual.
I
Right. So I
love it.
think that is how conversations get started and how you create bonds. And
Yeah. Well, that's how you create bonds, and that's how you break the ice. And once the conversation starts flowing, especially you get a drink or two, you're like feeling really good, and then the conversation ends up about food, whether it's cheese or the fruit or the nuts that you're serving, or how did you make them? Why are they spicy? Why are they not? You really made that all out of homemade Chex Mix. I mean, it's just, and it just continues to keep
yeah,
going, you know?
but I think though, Chef, that's why you nailed something with this show with football. I think like football above all other sports, and maybe you can answer this. I'm just having a conversation with you. I have no pre-planned questions. I just think that there's something about football. Maybe I don't know if it's the time, but I automatically think food with football. I don't think
Yes.
food necessarily with baseball. I would say there's a Cracker Jack and a hot dog symbiotic relationship. Basketball, I'm a snack on some wings, maybe. But there's something about football that opens up the whole plethora of options and things. And I just think I need to grill.
Right. Well, there's a lot of that going on, and whether you're at a professional level or whether you're at a college level, grilling it's happening. But then it comes back to that regional thing. You know, I went and tailgated at FSU game, and there was more alligator bites and this kind of alligator sausage, and then you go to Texas, and then it's like everything's bigger, and then it's like it's brisket, and it's mesquite, and it's, you know, and then, you know, you go to Seattle, and it's dominant seafood, you know,
Yeah.
influence from the Pike's Market. They're throwing salmons at each other. But I mean, then it's, you know, you got plentiful with Dungeness crab. So they're going to do something with that, with Dungeness crab. They're going to do
Yeah.
something with salmon. Anyhow, it's just, it's really great to see. I had a,
Audience, I really, oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
no, go ahead.
No, audience, I was going to say you have to see this show because in all 8 episodes, Chef shows you a variety of different meal options that you can choose from. Audience, you know, I'm no novice in the kitchen. Like, kitchen is not my specialty, but putting some meat on a grill for whatever reason, I turned into a master. But in the kitchen, I just can't do anything. And so I actually thought watching the show, Chef, that this was going to be too elevated for me, right? I was like, I'm not going to be able to get this. This is going to be something that's more aspirational. But no, you made things very simplistic, and I think I can pull different things from everyone. So, audience, you will be inspired by that, which leads me to the question I do want to ask you about Seattle. I happened to be at MLB All Star Game in Seattle this past spring, and it was fascinating to see. Sorry, the summer. It was fascinating to see how much seafood is at the core of those in Seattle. But talk to us a little bit though, because that one was in a unique space. It wasn't necessarily in the parking lot of a football stadium. It wasn't also too in someone's basement. But so, like, talk to us about how we can create tailgating moments that doesn't have to be like at the stadium, or it doesn't have to be like in someone's basement. If you can help our audience kind of walk us through like what a basic
Absolutely.
tailgating setup can look like.
Well, absolutely. You talk about the home kitchen. So let's start there. It's a great place that you can have an intimate tailgate party there. And one of the things that you can encourage people to do is make it a potluck thing. Have somebody, have somebody bring the wings, have somebody bring the sliders, have somebody bring a salad, have somebody. It can start there. The backyard is another special place. It doesn't have to be the stadium. But what it comes down to, when you start thinking about tailgating, you start thinking about a dozen people or so or more, okay? Because like I said, I've seen 500 of them at tailgate. I mean, you talk about Michigan. I'm thinking about just a couple of weeks ago, I was at Ole Miss in Oxford, and 35,000 people tailgating in the Grove. I mean, it's a sight to see. You go up last week to LSU, and you got 40 plus thousand people tailgating. So if you don't want to go that big, and sometimes I don't want to go that big. Sometimes I just want to go in the backyard with about eight or so people and just have a great time. And I can tell you the top three: chicken wings, tacos, nachos, but it's changing. It's changing. Yesterday, I did these spiced turkey wings that
Tell me more.
I confit them first, big fancy cooking word.
Mm.
Slow cooked them in fat with mirepoix and spices. Slow and low, 275 degrees. I cooked these turkey wings for about almost 3 hours. You want to take them out, let them cool, take them out of the oil, then refrigerate them so that they solidify, okay, overnight. Then I made this Creole glaze, almost like a tomato jam, but with a little spice to it. You take those turkey wings out of the fridge when they're cold, and you put them in vegetable oil, and you fry them, and they get all crispy on the outside. And then you toss them with this sauce. I'm telling you, man.
What? Oh my God, that sounds so good. Audience, that's game right there. Like, I expect everyone to start tagging me and Emeril in your post when you're making the smoked turkey wing on beef, because that, again, it sounds so fancy and extra, but it sounds very doable. I'm like, oh, I can slow cook something for a couple hours, throw it in the refrigerator, and basically just fry them at that point.
All right, so I did another one yesterday.
Yeah.
I had the Saints fans on, as yesterday. And so there was a thing years and years ago in New Orleans here that was a poor man's poor boy. And basically what it was the French bread, which, in New Orleans is unbelievable, with French fries, and they would have gravy on it. Okay. So I decided, poor man's poor boy. So I decided to kick it up a notch yesterday for these guys. And I took a chuck roast. Okay. Studded it with garlic, a lot of salt and black pepper. And I slow cooked it for almost 8 hours in a slow cooker. Okay. With like 2 cups of beef broth. That's it. Okay. That's it.
What?
This stuff was falling, like literally falling apart. So then I made a quick little simple gravy with beef broth, a little roux, shallots and garlic, a little flavor. The meat was falling apart. I put the meat in the gravy. So now I got,
oh my God.
now I got this shredded meat in this gravy. So I took the French bread, put some Swiss cheese, put a nice ladle of that debris, is what I call it, roast debris. French fries on top, little hot sauce, and out of sight.
Okay, I can't wait. Okay, wait, Chef, I gotta ask you this. I'm gonna be planning at University of Michigan. I'm gonna be co-hosting a tailgate. It's gonna be November, so think first Saturday in November. I'm putting you on the spot, audience. He does it. I didn't even know I was gonna ask him this, right? So I'm putting on the spot. So he's making a few beats to think about it. But can you think of like a signature menu item I should have at this tailgate? It's going to be at the University of Michigan, the Big House, Michigan.
How many people?
Probably about 50 people will stop by.
Okay, but you're not the only food.
No.
Okay, so you want to do a chicken and green chili. Okay. So you can bring the pot. You can put it on the grill. You can bring it up to temperature. And you have your little throwaway bowls with a spoon. You're going to take that chicken green chili. You get a little bit of the spice from the chilies, which will cut through that November weather. And you're going to put it in the bowl with a little cheddar cheese and Fritos on top.
Okay. Okay. Chef, now we're cooking. How should we prepare this chicken? I'm going to let you go, but how should we think about this chicken? Do we saute it? Do we grill it? Do we shred it?
No.
Do we?
You're actually going to make a chili, but with chilies and with the chicken. And you go on emerils.com and you can find the recipe.
Okay.
If not, we'll send it to you.
Send it to me. Please have Joseph. He's direct messaging me. I see you, Joseph. I am going to rap. But Joseph, you better send me this recipe from Chef Emeril. Because we're going to make it. I'm going to tag you.
And you can bring your pot. You can make it the day before, 2 days before. It'll be even better. Chunks of that chicken, a little bit of that diced with a little onion and green chilies, just a little bit of spice. And then you get it nice and hot, that November weather. You're going to put a little bit of that grated cheddar cheese on it, and then just a big handful of Fritos.
Ah!
and you get the crunch when you like,
Ah!
oh,
Chef, I'm inviting myself onto season 3 just so I can taste something. At least do a
come on,
college football edition. So I'm inviting myself just so I can like taste
got it.
some of your cooking. We got to be able to do it.
You got
I can't let you go without making a final prediction or get your thoughts on this. The Aaron Rodgers, like, what's your thoughts, bro?
I was so sad, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Here's all of this incredible hype. God knows what Woody paid for him. Probably upwards about $75+ million, right? Who cares about the money? It's all about the athlete. And here's all of these people in New York yesterday were so fired up. Tailgating in New York for a night game usually starts at about 4 o'clock. There were people there at 10 o'clock in the morning. There was so much excitement in the air. And I know this firsthand because I had a bunch of friends that were there tailgating. And there was anything, like I said, from a pizza oven to a panini press to them having a lobster boil in the parking lot, right? And here they go. Everybody goes in, and the hype is just unbelievable, right? 4 plays, bro. And he's out for the season. 4 plays.
I can't believe it. I thought this was going to be Jets is not my team. I used to root for them, but I was going to start enjoying them and start going to games because I'm in New York City, and I was even devastated. I actually wanted Odell Beckham Jr. to join the Jets, to join them. So I'm glad OBJ did listen to me and went to Baltimore. Can you imagine? Chef, I know you got to run, man. I just want to say I'm a huge fan of yours. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
All the creativity that you bring to food and to conversation to people.
Man,
I'm rooting for you.
Food, let's do it again.
Yo, let's do it. I'm coming to do a tailgate with you. Like,
All
I just have to come. I'll bring a bottle of nice wine. How about that?
Come on. You do that. We're going to have Jose. We're going to have Jose arrange it.
Oh, I love that. Okay, man. Have a great day.
Take care.